Hello everyone. Today in this paper of ecology, we are going to talk about species interaction. The relationship in ecological community can be direct and indirect. By saying the direct interactions, it means that it deals with the direct impact of one individual on another and is not mediated or transmitted through another organism. Direct interactions can be visualized very clearly and can be characterized into positive interactions, neutral interactions and negative interactions. In this module today, we are going to talk about positive interactions. Positive interaction means that at least one of the individual of the species is going to take benefit without harming the other or the other interacting species or damaging its course in life. Positive interactions help in species coexistence and increase the biodiversity. The learning objectives of this module are introduction to the species interaction, direct and indirect interactions. Among the indirect interactions, we will study the positive interactions, neutral interactions and negative interactions. We will have positive interaction, scavenging, commensalism, facultative mutualism, obligate mutualism, mutualism and co-evolution, and then we will study the importance of positive species interactions. Species interaction is defined as a relation between species that live together in a community. Interactive species have a tremendous influence on the size of each other populations. Species interactions are basis for many features of community and ecosystem. The nature of these interactions can vary depending on the evolutionary context and environmental conditions in which they occur. As a result, ecological interactions between individual organisms and entire species are often difficult to define and measure and are frequently dependent on the scale and context of the interactions. Direct and indirect interactions. Relationships between members of an ecological community can be classified within two broad categories, that is, direct interactions and indirect interactions. Direct interactions deal with the direct impact of one individual on another and are not mediated or transmitted through a third individual, while in the indirect interactions, a species can, through its direct interactions with some species, indirectly influence the abundance of another species with which it is not interacting directly. In the direct interactions, the impact of direct interactions can be visualized very clearly and can be positive, neutral, that is 0, or negative, that is a minus sign. Positive interactions are those through which at least one of the species obtains a benefit from another species without damaging to the second individual or altering the course of its life. Neutral interactions are those in which there is no direct damage or benefit from any of the interactive species. The damage of benefit, if taken, is always indirect. Negative interactions are those interactions by which one of the species obtains a benefit in detriment of the other species. Indirect interactions. The indirect effects are sequential processes in which direct effects are essentially involved. Their effects are difficult to be detected as they are complicated by mixing of direct and indirect efforts. Menge in 1995 identified different pathways of indirect efforts and reported that about 40 to 45% of all community changes in his study resulted from indirect effects and suggested that the percentage could reach to 65% at other places. He emphasized that indirect effects are major source of bringing structural and dynamic complexity in a community. Types of direct interactions. There are 8 main types of direct interactions which are classified by the net effect of the relationship on each interactor. Of these interactions, mutualism and commensalism are positive interactions. There is no interactive effect in neutralism, while the rest of the interactions are negative. Commensalism is one-sided interaction, while mutualism is a cooperative interaction. Among negative interactions, predation, parasitism and herbivory benefit one species and harm the other, while in competition the negative effect is on both the interactors. We can see it in table number 1 in the slide. In nature, all these interactions are prevalent and play a very important role in the ecological studies. The interactions are exhibited by a wide array of species and can be distinctly observed. We can see in the slide the effect on species B, the effect on species A. We can see that in mutualism, both of them are getting a positive effect, that is species A and species B. In commensalism, the species B is having a positive effect, whereas species A is not effective. In predation, herbivory and parasitism are supposed to be negative interactions, as there is a negative or a minus sign towards species A. Neutralism will show a zero effect or a neutral or no interaction between the interactors, that is A and B species. Commensalism, we can see that species B is negatively affected, whereas there is no effect in species A, and in competition both the interactors are getting a negative effect. Types of species interaction. In the slide we can see the sign plus, 0 and minus represent the effect of one species on the other and indicate positive, neutral and negative effect respectively. The types of species interaction, we can see mutualism, the second figure we can see commensalism, then predation, herbivory, figure E shows the parasitism and figure F shows competition. Positive interactions. Positive interactions play a critical but underappreciated role in ecological communities by reducing physical or biotic stresses in existing habitats and by creating new habitats on which many species depend. Positive interactions amongst different species in a community are broadly classified into 4 types. The degree of benefit varies with each type. As we can see in the table, the type of interaction is commensalism, where the effect on species A is positive, whereas an effect on species B is neutral. One is benefited and the other is unaffected. Scavenging, species A is positive and species B is also positive, beneficial to both. Facultative mutualism, effect on species A is positive and the effect on species B is also positive, that is, it is beneficial to both but not obligatory. Obligate mutualism, effect on species A is positive and effect on species B is also positive, beneficial to both but it is obligatory. Scavenging, it is a direct food related interspecific interaction in which one partner called scavenger or saprobiont eats the dead bodies of other animals which have died either naturally or were killed by some other animals. Scavengers clean the environment and the available food is ultimately disposed of, by which a major part of the nutrients again enter for recycling. Animals such as foxes, hyenas, vultures, etc. are examples of natural scavengers. Humans are much benefited by activity of scavengers and have shown an interdependent relationship with them. This relationship has helped in shaping evolution of both the humans and scavengers. Decomposing microorganisms are also helping in nutrient cycling and are good scavengers. In this slide, we can see the scavengers, vultures eating a dead animal, fruiting bodies of a decomposing fungus is also an example of scavenger. Commensalism. It is an interaction in which one individual benefits while the other is neither being helped nor harmed. The interaction is plus by 0. In this positive interspecific interaction, the smaller benefited member is called commensal, while the larger member that is neither benefited nor harmed is called the host. In nature, individuals of one species are often physically attached to members of another. For example, epiphytes widely found in tropical rainforests grow on the branches of trees in order to access light, but the presence of them does not affect the trees. The epiphytes absorb water and minerals from the atmosphere by their hygroscopic roots and prepare their own food. In general, the host plant is unharmed, while the epiphyte that grows on it gets benefit of occupying space. In tropical rainforests, many species live on a tree together to form a mat. Commensalism can be difficult to identify because the individual that gets benefit may have indirect effect on the other individual that are not readily noticeable or detectable. Other examples of commensalism are several species of mollusks, that is barnacles, which grow on the hard shell of horseshoe crab, and Entamoeba coli, that is a protozoan which lives on a commensal in the intestine of man. In this slide, we can see the commensalism interaction. Many epiphytes growing on a tree trunk in figure A, and the parts of an epiphyte can be shown in figure B. Facultative mutualism. It is a positive interspecific interaction in which both the partners are mutually benefited and increase the chance of their survival. However, the interaction is not obligatory for their survival, as both can live without this interaction. The relationship is also termed as non-symbiotic mutualism or diffuse mutualism or proto-cooperation. Proto-cooperation occurs between soil bacteria or fungi and higher plants growing in the soil. Neither species is dependent on the association, but all microflora, higher plants and soil fauna participate in determining soil composition and fertility. Soil bacteria and fungi interact with each other, forming nutrients required by plants. They obtain nutrients from root nodules and decaying organic matter. Plants benefit by getting necessary mineral nutrients. In this slide, we can see the proto-cooperation exhibited by ants and aphids in slide A, in figure A, pollinators in figure B and C, and seed dispersal in the figure D. Another excellent example of proto-cooperation is that of ants and aphids. Aphids are defenseless creatures and are easy catchy prey for most predators. The aphids feed on plant sap and have to process a significant amount of it to get their required nutrients. They excrete a lot of fluid, and some of the sugars still remain in the excreted fluid, which is called honeydew. The ants drink the honeydew and in turn protect the aphids from an array of predators. The common pollinators and seed dispersers like birds, insects and mammals also show this relationship, where they benefit many plant species by helping them in reproduction and propagation and they take advantage of gaining food and energy. Obligate mutualism. It is an interaction in which at least one species cannot survive without the presence of the other species. This is usually due to a long history of co-evolution and involves direct interaction between the two species. Obligate mutualism is also referred as symbiosis, sym that is together and biosis that is life, or symbiotic mutualism, and the partners are referred as symbionts. The excellent examples of obligate mutualism are lichens, mycorrhizae, and the symbiosis between bacteria and legumes. Symbiotic nitrogen fixation by Rhizobium leguminosarum bacteria occurs in the nodules on the secondary roots of leguminous plants like pea, gram, etc. The bacteria obtains carbohydrates and shelter from leguminous plants, while in return they fix nitrogen as nitrites and nitrates for the plants, which is required for their growth. Lichens are composed of a mixture of fungi and algae. In each species of lichen, the alga and fungus are so closely intertwined that whole lichens are classified as species rather than the component algae or fungi. The type of fungus and alga are species specific. The alga does photosynthesis and produces sugars for fuel for both. The fungus attaches the whole lichen to its substrate, that is whether it is a tree or a rock, and holds in water needed by alga. In this slide we can see the sections of legume root in A and that of a lichen in B, and we can see how there is an interaction between the fungal hyphae and algal cells. Mutualism and co-evolution. In this slide we can see the examples of co-evolution in mutualism. Co-evolution is the mutual evolutionary influence between two species. The evolution of two species totally depend on each other. Each of the species involved exerts selective pressure on the other, so they evolve together. They develop characters which are advantageous to them individually as well as synergistically. There are various examples where the non-obligate mutualism got turned into obligate mutualism through a co-evolution. First, we can see the yucca flowers have a typical shape so that only tiny moth can pollinate them. The moths lay their eggs in yucca flowers and the larvae live in the developing ovary and eat yucca seeds. Second, we can see that acacians are small Central American trees in Leguminosae. They have large hollow thorns. The acacia ants live in the thorns. On the tips of these leaflets, the plants make a substance used by the ants as food. The ants defend the trees from herbivores by attacking or stinking any animal that even accidentally bushes up against the plant. The ants also prune off seedlings of any other plants that sprout under their tree. In the third example, we can say that about 900 species of tiny wasps are responsible for polluting the world's 900 species of figs. Each species of wasp pollinate only one species of fig, and each fig species has its own wasp species to pollinate it. This extraordinary diversity of co-evolution between figs and wasps has become so strong that neither organism can exist without the other. Importance of positive species interactions. All types of species interactions influence the community or the ecosystem in one or the other way. They have significant role in determining the species composition, species distribution, evolution and conservation, while the negative interactions like competition may result in removal or exclusion of certain species. The positive reactions like symbiosis lead to co-evolution of the interacting partners. Species interaction are part of the framework that forms the complexity of ecological communities. Species interactions are extremely important in shaping community dynamics. The role of positive interactions in communities was not much appreciated by earlier ecologists because of the prejudiced approach of contemporary community ecologists about competition. Lately, attention has been given to these interactions by many ecologists and they have justified it. Positive interactions play a critical role in ecological communities by reducing physical or biological stress in existing habitats and by creating many habitats on which many species depend. Positive interactions can be trophic and non-trophic, can act directly or indirectly, and can be symmetric or asymmetric. That is, species have unequal effects, and symmetric, that is, species have equal effects. Positive species interaction are not static but vary in their outcome depending on the context under which they occur. They can act to promote species coexistence, especially under harsh physical or biological stress, and thus are important to species diversity, species invasions, and conservation and management of highly impacted systems. They are cooperative relationships among species and are important forces in shaping community structure. To summarize this module, we can say that scavenging, commensalism and mutualism are important positive interactions where both or one of the interactor gets benefit without damaging or affecting the course of life of the another organism. Positive interactions help in coexistence of species, increasing the biodiversity of this community, and also helps in maintaining the dynamics of a community. Thank you.